And I'm live. Happy New Year, everyone. If you this is the first time that you're catching me, my name is Priya and my channel is called Unmute with Priya. So, first things like, subscribe, and share my channel. I'll be doing a lot more on here and hopefully providing you with a lot more value and things that content that's really going to support you. First things first, I am holding a live retreat starting January 6th. It is free. It will be online from 9 to 10 a.m. every day from January 6th through the 10th. So, Monday through Friday of next week. Like I said, from 9 to 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. And don't worry if you can't be there live. If you register, you will get replay access to the live training. I'm calling it a retreat because I just love retreats. I just returned from a retreat, and I think they are so amazing. Um, and there will be an additional day on the weekend. I just haven't announced the day, it be Saturday or Sunday, or the time yet, but it will be a celebration. We'll be doing breath work. There might be sound healing. It will be an awesome way to just bring in the new year. So the registration link is below and you can sign up there. Also, I am taking applications for working with me one-on-one in for 12 weeks in my program Paradise Within. So go ahead and fill out that Google form. There is absolutely no obligation. Fill it out. I'll get back to you. We can have a call. We can just talk about what this whole program is about. So I am on live and I just wanted to, I'm not sure if I even said Happy New Year, but Happy New Year. And I hope this is the most abundant, prosperous, and full of love. I'm saying that wrong. The year just full of love for all of you who are watching right now. And for anybody who's not watching, I send that out from my heart to the universe. And I really, despite what's going on in politics and countries and wars and the only way, and you see this a lot, love is the solution. So that is my intention in this space, is to really just bring a lot of healing to this world, a lot of healing to anybody who's listening, continue to bring healing to myself through this work. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I just returned from Peru. So I was there for it was a 9-day retreat, and I was there for 20 days, and it was unreal. So I knew that I signed up for this retreat in 2022. So it was, the name of the retreat is called Releasing into Abundance. I knew that it was going to be a shamanic retreat. I knew that at the time in 2022, when I heard about it, it was like my brain shut off, which it never does. And my whole body lit up and said, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I need to go. I need to be in this retreat. I made it happen. Pretty soon after, if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, I said this as well. Pretty soon after, my brain took charge again and said, how could you have done this? How could you have spent all this money to go to Peru? How could you have? How could you have? And then, because I was circulating in those thoughts within me, the people around me, my family, how could you? How could you? How could you? Well, I don't need to keep going through what happened after that, but that was in 2022, and I couldn't go in 23. This was the year, and it all made sense why I said yes back in 2022. It was my soul saying yes. Has that ever happened to you where you're just like, you know, within your every cell of your being that you need to make this thing happen? Well, that's what happened to me, and it was the 2024 version of myself that said yes back in 2022. Time is not linear. It's not how we see it. Our minds, our 3D minds, really, just try to make sense of the world that we're in, whether it's looking at this computer, looking at this room and the structures. But it was that 2020 last year's version. Oh my gosh, we're already in 2025, but it was last year's version of me that said yes back then. And wow, I mean, I don't even know what to share about it. I Majority of what I could share is going to stay with me, because it was so intimate. It was a plant medicine journey, and I received messages that just blow my mind. I'm still integrating them. As I go about on my day, I came back to town, got back right into my routine. It was Christmas. It was birthday and the family, and I'm still integrating. There's things that, I'm the observer. Often mention Juan Pablo Barahona in my videos, and he's an amazing teacher of mine, as well as Regan Hillier. And they often talk about being the observer. And so as I watch myself navigate through my day, navigate through interactions with people, navigate the thoughts that are coming up in my head as I interact, I don't recognize myself. Even as I talk right now, I don't recognize my voice. As I talk and I feel this newfound confidence within me, I don't recognize that either, because before I was more concerned about what are others going to think about me? How am I going to look? Does my room look good enough? Does this look good enough? It's too many things that were in the way. And I was able to shut that down. And actually, if it does come to the surface, I can step back and look at myself as the observer. In my description of this video, I said that despite how intense the retreat was, despite all the lessons, everything that was happening hour to hour, day to day, I left there with pretty simple lessons. The present moment is all we ever have. That's it. The present moment is it, you know, and, I also have this, ridiculous newfound appreciation for nature, and I've always loved nature. I always, had this love for animals, but the connection that I formed with the mountains, being able to talk to Pachamama, Mother Earth, Pachataita, Father Sky, the sun, the moon, the stars. Even as I went on a walk today with my dog, looking around and connecting in a deeper way, because that is where we come from. That is our pure essence. That is our guidance. And I think so much in our lives, and I only speak from personal experience. You're going through life like a robot. You go to school, then maybe you'll go and to work, or you'll go off to college, and you're on this path. You're just going and going and going, that you forget the basics. You forget how beautiful everything is around you. You forget the human connection. I was in tears every day just because of the beauty of the connection that I felt with people, because of the beauty of the trees and the flowers and the sounds that I woke up to, the beauty in the mountains. And then also, because we were in Peru, I was able to connect with the amazing Quechua people, have conversations around their beliefs. And one person in particular, he picked me up from the airport, and when I got to Cusco, and he took me to my Airbnb, and he was just such a good teacher. And so not judgmental, from the moment I got in his car, just full of help. And I felt comfortable from the second I met him to be able to ask him questions about his beliefs and what they do, and how do they do ceremonies, and how do they practice, what's their faith, and tell me more. And he shared so much that, and this was at the beginning of the retreat. Now, after while, that already brought a sense of, wow, like, where have I been my whole life? Where have I been? I've just been going like a robot on autopilot. Then we had the retreat. And yeah, 9 days of just mind-blowing transformation, mind-blowing. After the retreat, I mean, even towards the end, we got to meet people from the Karo tribe, which was so fascinating because we learned they live at 15,000 feet. They walk down, and it takes them 5 days. They use the sun and the stars as their navigation system as they walk down. They grow 100 different types of potatoes, and it's collaborative community living up top. Um, I mean, talk about it just being detached from the matrix. It just sounded amazing. And I felt comfortable enough to ask the couple of people who had come to support us in our retreat questions. And we were fortunate enough to receive blessings from them. They don't have vegetation, so they eat and trade for coca leaves. That brought up something within me because these coca leaves, something that has been turned into drugs, cocaine, something that is banned by government, something that they are scanning your suitcases for when you leave certain countries, something that is pure medicine. It just broke my heart that something that is pure medicine, pure love, has been turned into this toxic thing. Um, we were able to have a ceremony with those coca leaves while we were there and ask more questions about them. I went even into a couple of stores and they pulled leaves out to read me, just like tarot cards, and um, blessed me with those leaves. So here in a society where I've been living, where it's about more and make more money and have more, I was shown that wealth was lying within these leaves, and that was a form to share with other people, blessing. And they don't go to the hospitals. So we learned that too, that they don't go to the hospitals because of the medicine that they have within these plants. So that was my at the end of it, I got to integrate for a few more days back in Cusco, left the Sacred Valley, and just met so many more amazing people just walking, getting lost in town. And it just brought me to a place of this is all we have. The present moment is all we have. I've sat, you know, for the past 4 or 5 years, I sat in this place of the future. I sat in this place of when this happens, that will happen. And it was never going to happen. I didn't have any urgency about the present moment until and that's in one of my other videos, my tribute to my beautiful friend Najat, who passed away right at the time where I said, "You know what? I need to get in touch with her. We got into a stupid fight. We need to get back in touch." And when I decided that I had the time, I found out she died. So, my mission, my passion, what lies within me is that present moment. That is all we have. My biggest fear, and you'll hear this in sayings, I think there's a famous saying in a book too. It's I'm not afraid of death. Like my friend and I laugh all the time. I said, if I were to drop dead right now, he'd say, what would happen? I'd say nothing because I'd be dead. What am I going to do about it? But yet, what scares me the most is that I go through life not living, not seizing every moment, not seizing every moment for opportunity, for growth. Even today, as I was on a walk, I was considering, should I get in touch with this person? Should I? Should I not? And then luckily, I had the voice within me saying, what are you doing? Just wasting time asking, just do it. Because if you don't do it and something happens, you're going to say, I wish I had done it. We don't have time. We don't have time to waste. Not anymore. We never did, but yet we thought we had plenty of time. And within the system that we live in, and I'm in the States, we're kind of raised from an early age to believe that we have all the time in the world. Keep going in 65, 70, who knows when they'll push retirement age. Once you get to that age, then you can start living because you will have put all your money away and then you could start living. The present moment is all we have. I asked my financial advisor because when I started to question these things a couple of years ago after my awakening, I I said, "Okay, I'm taking all of this money. I can't go on this trip because I'm putting this money into retirement. I can't afford this because I have to put all this money into retirement. What if I die tomorrow?" And my advisor said, and I love her. She's kind. She goes, "Well, you're going to make somebody really happy," meaning my beneficiary. And that was a turning point for me where it wasn't about, all right, save up and put it away for 65. It's like you need to change your life so that you are living right now, whether that means shifting around your career, shifting around what you do, creating wealth in another way. You need to do it now, not wait till 65 because I could die tomorrow. What if I died tomorrow living for 65? That's my biggest fear. That is my biggest fear. So now I've come back with this newfound appreciation and passion for the present moment. Um, and to seize every single second of the day, every single interaction, look at the beauty in it rather than looking at things with the side eye and being like, okay, what was that all about? No, it's shifted everything and how I look at everything. So, but in order to get there, I make it sound like, okay, I went away for 9 days. Um, and that was it. That's all I needed. No, this has been going on for years. Um, I would say 6 or 7 years actually, that I hit rock bottom and I've been digging myself out. And the way that I can talk to you right now is only because I've done the work. I've done so much healing work. I've done so much spiritual work, emotional work, mental work. I've worked on all my bodies, and I've said this often that you have to heal those parts of yourself. I do somatic healing. I do breath work. I'm a breath work facilitator. I'm a sound healer. I just in this last 10 years or so, I just went on this journey of just learning and learning and learning things that I wasn't taught in school, learning things that I would never have been taught in college. And it's those things, the combination of things that has allowed me to integrate every single part of me into me, if that makes any sense. A lot of times, if I reflect back on myself, we've got so many different parts of us that are hanging outside. I've got that 7-year-old girl that's hanging out here, the one who was told no and got into trouble for something so small that created fear for the rest of her life. Then I've got this part of me that is the part that was the first that created the first trauma with men and created, a pattern with relationships. That's sitting out there. I have, belief systems. All of these things hang out in our field. We're pure energy. If anything, I've shown that during while I was in Peru as well. We're pure energy. And all of these things sit out here. So at any given moment, you could be going through your day thinking, wow, today is such a wonderful day. It's great. Boom, trigger happens. It could be related to this thing hanging in your field. It could be related to this thing hanging out in your field. So, what we need to do is not get over anything. I hate when people say, get over it, get over him, get over her, get over the relationship, get over. No, you don't get over anything. What you have to do is integrate it. You have to integrate it back into yourself so that all of these parts that are hanging out in the ethers come back to you. When they come back to you, you can actually talk about them. I can talk about shit that happened that a couple of years ago I was, if I even talked about it, I was bawling my eyes out. Now I talk about it and I actually ask myself, did that really happen? Because I'm talking about it and I'm not crying. It's because I integrated it into myself. We have to give ourselves permission to do that. And, and it can be any part of us. It could be, as I mentioned before, it could be our emotional body, our physical body, our astral body, spiritual body, I think I said mental body. I'm not sure if I did or not. But you've got all these different bodies. We're not just this body here. There's so much more. There's so much depth to us. And when you start to bring all of these things back into you through those different practices, breath work, sound healing, guess what? You start to remember who you are. You start to come back to yourself. You start to feel like yourself. And the weird part about it is you don't recognize yourself because that's the older version of yourself, but you do recognize yourself because that's your soul. That makes any sense. It may not, but, I said it anyway, but that is essentially some of and I'm just talking on the fly here, so I feel like this is a download from universe, spirit, God, whatever you wanna call it, as a message to convey to you. The present moment is all we ever have. So, there's no time to waste. There's no time to waste sitting in, "This happened, that happened," resentment, anger, constantly being triggered. Doesn't mean push it away, but start to take the steps to integrate it into yourself so that you start to feel whole. That has been my experience. If I think about myself now compared to a few years ago, I feel absolutely whole. If I were to die tomorrow, if I knew tomorrow was my last day, what I would say is, "Man," and if I think about even just this past year, I was like, "Man, I lived it really well. I did 2024 really well, and I did the previous years really well too." I also, came back, and there's no regret for anything in my life, even the stuff that created some pretty intense trauma and scars in my life, because those have all been integrated now. They're not they're not bombs waiting to go off. Um, they're healed. They are healed, and there are parts of me that I never thought I could heal. And I think back, and I wouldn't take any of those back in a or I'm saying that wrong. I wouldn't, I would do it again the same way, because without any of those things, I would not be who I am right now, and I would not be able to support the people that I'm supporting in stepping into their best version too. There I It's so great to be able to just see yourself up leveling and upgrading week to week, day to day even, um, and just being the observer. One thing that I find myself very sensitive to now is duality, um, politics in particular, or things that are very, "That is wrong, but that is right." It's all right. I have an amazing coach. Her name is Dehesa. And one of the things that she always says, as far as business, it all works. This whole duality of you shouldn't eat that because that's really bad for you, but you have to eat this way because that's better for you. I'm in the fitness world as well, and that comes up a lot. And duality is not our natural state. Living in collaboration, like those communities that I talked about in Caro tribe in Peru, the people that we met. That is how we are meant to live, not in this place of duality, not in this place of constant war and battle. We asked one of the grandmothers there, or somebody from our group said, "Do you ever cry?" Because she was just so happy. She was so happy, and her energy was happy. Even if she didn't smile, we could feel her energy. And she said, "Sometimes when her children are sick or her animals are sick, but otherwise, no." And even when I told you about the driver who picked me up, he said his grandparents lived to 120. Simple life. Um, and yeah, I just wanted to come on here to share some of these thoughts as they've, just kind of flown out of my mouth today. But my other teacher, Regan Hillier, she says it, you can absolutely have it all, and you can have it all at once. So what do you want? What do you want for 2025? Put it in the comments here. You can reach out to me. What do you want for 2025? And dream big. If it's a money goal, if it's $1 trillion, dream big. What do you want for yourself? Because seize it, claim it, because the present moment is all we ever have. So in ending, I wanted to draw a card. I have this card deck. I've loved this. Is one of my first decks that I ever got, The Soul's Journey. So I'm going to pull it for the collective now, and then that will be how I end this live. And yeah, I'm excited to share this with you. Let's see what card decides to pop out. Here's one. Forgiveness. So I'm going to read this. I think we all know about forgiveness. We often talk about forgiveness. I acknowledge that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. So I did talk about this before, that we go through life hanging on to this anger, this resentment, things that are really holding us back. And that keeps us stuck. You can never flow with your natural energy of love unless you release the negative energy of hate, anger, intolerance, or blame. Every soul in your path has free will, and you have no control over that. What you do have control over is how you react to the manifestations of others' free will. Holding on to the negative energy will strengthen karmic cycles, and forgiveness can break that pattern. The most important person you must learn to forgive is always yourself. Blaming yourself for failures blocks the natural flow of love, which will attract all good things into your life. So on that note, Happy New Year 2025. Make it your best year ever.